Eyethu TV.
Eyethu TV.
Eyethu TV. Eyethu TV.
So I grew from 800 cases to 120,000 cases. I had to increase the capacity in the cellar. Now imagine, you have a winery, and now you grow from 800 to 120,000 cases. That's serious. So I had 3 times I had to increase the capacity of the winery. And I split the winery in 2, meaning the Sauvignon Blanc on the one side, it's only white wine, and then the Chardonnay is a whole bunch fresh, but it's a small volume, and then the other section of the winery is a red wine facility. So the Lamotte winery is now about 2,000 tons that I produce. But 2,000 tons gives me about 2 million bottles, and I do 8 million bottles. So Lamotte is now a smaller portion of my business. Because I have the Lepers Leaf business and the Chinese business also growing. But the best that I have is going into the Lamotte, because remember, I'm sleeping with the boss. And I have to have a good sleep, you know, and I can only have a good sleep if the best is in the Lamotte. Okay, now the second one that we're going to do is the Chardonnay. Now this specific Chardonnay was now nominated. There's an article, I think it's a drinks business that did the article. They tasted in the UK. The top Chardonnays, 10 Chardonnays in the UK at the moment. So this one was part of the top 10. There's 2 South African Chardonnays. This is one of the 2 South Africans in the top 10 in the UK at the moment. So this one we do about 4,000 cases only. It's one vineyard that I have on the Lamotte estates. It's next to the mountain, and it's very typical Franschhoek flavors. Meaning, if you want the terroir, they always talk about the terroir, and the flavor that you get in the wine is coming from the terroir. Now, what is terroir? Terroir is a combination of things. Is the soil, the type of soil. For instance, if you have loose granite soil, like the Lamotte soil, it's like a sandy soil, loose granite. Then you have more elegant flavors in the wine. If you have a red soil or black soil, you have very, very strong flavors and tannins. So normally with a Cabernet Sauvignon, you want to go to the powerful soil. So we don't do Cabernet Sauvignon at Lamotte because you cannot on that soil. And then the other thing that's dependent on the flavor that you're going to get is the temperature and also the wind and the sunlight and all of those combination of those things is the terroir. So when we started in 1999 to identify Lamotte as an international brand, I had to plant vineyards. Now where do you plant? So I first had to define the style of Lamotte, and again, remember I'm sleeping with the boss. So it is a feminine style. So Lamotte is not a masculine brand. You'll taste the wines tonight. It's soft tannins, it's a smooth mouthfeel, and it's elegant. And that's the Lamotte brand. So I positioned the style of La Motte in the beginning, and then I was looking for the grapes to fit that style. And I used a system that they used in California. GIS is a global information system. So it's a satellite system. Obviously the Americans went to the moon, so they have these fancy systems. But this system, there's 7 different maps that you can put together, and then you put into the system, I want to have a Sauvignon Blanc with the greener flavors. And then the satellite map will tell you where must I plant it on the farm. So I used that system originally when I planted. And now it's common sense that we use it in South Africa. So it's very technical when we plant. It's not that we just have a farm and plant vineyards, because you cannot do that. You have to be very systematic. Remember, the French took them 300 years plus to decide where to plant what. We don't have time like that. You know, it's, the new South Africa is only in 94. And remember, our wine industry only started in 1994. Because before that, it was controlled by the government and KWV. And what did they do? They forced us to plant vineyards only on a farm when they have a quota on the farm. So we couldn't plant vineyards. You have to have a quota on the farm, and they released the quotas. So it was tightly controlled. That's why we didn't make good wine back then. So from 1994, we had 12 wine districts. We added 3 to 2000 to 15. We have now 26. So our industry at the moment, the new industry, is being planted from 2000 to 2005. Mostly we planted most of the new vineyards. And that's why the quality in South Africa is just doing this. And you can talk to all the international people. On quality price ratio, we offer the best value at the moment. Yes, the weak rand is in our favor as well. Okay, so we go to the Chardonnay. The Chardonnay, as I said, it's the soil is loose granite soil. It's on the farm in Franschhoek. We whole bunch press, meaning that we don't de-stem before we press, and we put the full stems just into the press, back press, and then we have a soft press with it, and then we go from there to the barrel. And what we do use, it's a 300 liter barrel and a 500 liter barrel. Now normally use 225 liters, 225 liter barrel. So we don't want the wood dominating the flavors, because remember, it's a loose granite soil, so it's not a powerful wine. So we needed less wood, and by putting it in a bigger barrel, you have less wood influence in the fruit flavors that you have. So this is the style that we do at La Motte, and as I said, we do about 4,000 cases only, because that's the only vineyard that I have, only one vineyard. But it's a very good example of a Franschhoek style of Chardonnay. Any comments? You must comment if there's any. Okay, now we're going to move on to the stronger stuff. I think now is to the red one. So we're going to do the Millenium. Now, Millenium is now, I just want to take a picture because I'm quite active on social networks, so I have to put it on. The Millenium is started as a Bordeaux blend. Now, normally a Bordeaux blend, if I say Bordeaux blend, you say to me it must be Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Malbec. Those 5 varietals is a Bordeaux blend. Now, why? I don't know, because of the French said so. If you go to France, you go left bank. Now that's the wineries of Lafite and Mouton and you know, all those really fancy wineries. They all have dominated Cabernet Sauvignon in their blend. So normally it's about 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, and then they blend it with Merlot or Cabernet Franc or Petit Verdot or Malbec in a combination. If you go to right bank, that's now towards Saint-Emilion. It is Merlot dominated and Cabernet Franc dominated, and very smaller portions of Cabernet Sauvignon. Again, because their soil type is softer or loose granite, it is lighter. The left bank have heavy soils. They can do serious Cabernet Sauvignons. So what did we do in France, at La Motte? We planted the vineyards in Botriver, and some of the best Cabernet Franc in South Africa is coming from that region. So we decided to put Cabernet Franc and Merlot as the dominate, is like a centimillion blend in this one. It's only two varietals on the label, but we have small portions of Petit Verdot Malbec, because that's normal that you put in as well. So, and this one, it goes into barrel for 225 liter barrel, about 30%, and the balance is in bigger barrels, and the other balance is in tank. So this one is about 30,000 bottles per year, 30,000 cases a year that I do now, and we sell this now on the international platform, quite big in Germany at the duty free. So taste it. As I said, Cabernet Franc and Merlot. There's still one glass over there. As you see, again, it's elegant. It's not too big and not too strong, because that's La Motte.